Now, can a will be changed at any time, and how do you make changes to a will? Now, a will can be changed again at will. Like the name suggests, that it's your desire. Your desire can change at any given point of time. Relations sometimes become better, sometimes become worse. So depending upon how much life you have lived after making your will, situations will change. The nature of your assets will change. You may become wealthier. You may have disposed of certain properties that you've given to certain people and which no longer can form part of your will because you've disposed it in your lifetime, right? So a will can be changed at will whenever you want to. So you can do that whenever. We have already discussed that the only exception of not being able to change or cancel a will, if you have created a mutual will with your spouse and you have entered into an agreement which you call that is a mutual will. So those wills cannot be cancelled. Otherwise, a will at will can be changed at any point of time. Now, how do you change a will? How do you modify a will? How do you revoke a will? You can do so normally by just preparing a new will and saying that I revoke all my previous wills. It's better you remember the dates of your previous will so that that can be indicated in the document itself. You can also do so by telling people that I am intending or I'm revoking this will. Suppose we've seen a situation in my career, I've seen a situation where one person wanted to change a will. He told his relatives that I am changing my will, this will that I created 10 years back. I'm not happy with it. I want to change it, and this is the way I want it changed. Before creating a new will, that person died. The situation was whether a person's existing will, because he had not actually prepared a new will, whether that will hold good, or what he told to somebody that he wanted to revoke a will, whether that was good enough for the purposes of revoking the earlier will. The courts held that in evidence, after examining the person to whom this statement was made and in the presence of other people, the court said that once a person has expressed a desire to revoke a will, the earlier will prepared by that person can no longer stand. It should stand revoked. And then if he's not prepared a will, then depending on your religion, the normal law which is applicable to you would apply. You can also revoke a will by just simply tearing or destroying the will. So that's as good as a revocation as can be. Now, what happens when you create a will and you decide that you don't want to take the trouble of making a new will or making a new codicil because it's a hassle for you to keep finding witnesses, and it's a very small minor modification changes. I don't want to go to a lawyer. I don't have the time. I don't want to create a new will. I don't want to create a codicil. What can I do? Now, the law allows you that after you have executed a will, and I'll again repeat myself, by execution I mean that you have signed the will, your witnesses have signed the will in your presence, and you decide that instead of your older son, you want to give the property that you had left for your older son to your younger daughter, just to give an example. Now, it's possible for you to make a change in your existing document itself if you don't want to create a new will or prepare a codicil. Now, how will you make that change? You can substitute the name of the person you had left the bequest by putting the name of the other person who you want to leave your property behind, and you will just overwrite the name. You will sign next to the change, and you will do it in the presence of two witnesses who will also sign in your presence. So the way that you have executed your will is the same way you will make any alteration or any modification to that will, and it will be as though you're preparing a new will, but your alteration and your overwriting will have to be signed by you again, and it should be signed again by the witnesses. Only then those alterations will be accepted. If it is not done so, then the court will not accept the alteration at all. Now we'll come to registration. Now this is I got 10 questions on registration. So I'll just spend some time on it. I'll try and tell you what is the difference between registration of wills and deposit of will with the registrar. There's a difference. People don't understand that they have two options available to them. And these two options don't necessarily need to also be complied with, because registration is not compulsory under the Indian Registration Act. Registration is required when you're selling immobile property, when you're creating any right, title, or interest in immobile property during your lifetime. If you're creating any right, title, or interest in respect of your property after you are no longer alive, registration is not required. Gift is required. Gift requires compulsory registration because it's happening during your lifetime. When you're selling, when you're leasing, when you're mortgaging property, it is during lifetime. Registration is compulsory. But because the effect of a will takes place after the death of a person, registration is not compulsory. Now, having said that, why do we recommend registration? We recommend registration for two reasons. The first reason is, once you register a document which you call a will, the fact that you had not executed that document is thrown away from the window. When a person wants to object to a will, there are 3 or 4 objections normally which are taken. The first objection is, this will is not signed by the deceased. So when you register a will, nobody can take an objection that you have not signed the will, because you have done so in the presence of a government officer whose duty is only to look at the person, identify him with his documents, and confirm that the signature of that person is done in his presence. If the document is registered, this objection that the will has not been signed by the deceased cannot be taken, or if it is taken, it will not be accepted by anybody, because the court will believe a third party, especially a government official like a registrar, who will confirm that this person registered the will in his presence, and that's why the court will accept that person rather than a person taking an objection. Now, if you register a will, what is the other advantage that you get apart from the fact that the signature cannot be disputed? When you register a will, because these formalities of attestation may sometimes be overlooked by a person, the registrar will ensure that you execute the will in the presence of 2 witnesses. So any kind of lapse that may happen because you have not procedurally followed the requirement of law, that will be complied the moment you go to a registrar for registration, because all requirements will have to be followed when you go for registration of the will, and there could not be any lapse of any manner. So that is the other thing that you kind of overrule, that whatever is a legal requirement, and the only legal requirement, like I again and again I'm saying, is that the signatures of the 2 witnesses need to be in the presence of the testator or the deceased. That's the only requirement of a valid will. But in case somebody has not followed it, the registrar will not register the will unless he sees both the witnesses. So this kind of lapse that a person may forget, that can be overruled. So these are the 2 advantages of having a registered will. Now, what is the process of registration? The process of registration is, in the locality or your residential address, a registrar will have jurisdiction to register a will. You have to fix time with the registrar, either do it through an agent or do it through your lawyer. He will fix time before the registrar for you to go before the registrar to register your will. Along with you, your 2 witnesses that you would normally want to see you sign and who you want to be as witnesses. Witnesses have a very important role in respect of every will. Let's understand that a witness is required to give affidavits if there's a requirement of a probate. If the will is contested, then the witnesses have to appear before the court and set out how the person who left the will behind did it out of his own free will. He was not coerced, he was of a sound state of mind, and the objections which are being raised by people, those objections are not maintainable because this really happened in your presence. So when you decide on your witnesses, please ensure that you have decided on very trusted people to be your witnesses. Normally, keep witnesses who are at least 10-15 years younger to you, because you never know when the will can be challenged. If the will goes to court, in India, we are all aware the long process that courts take to decide these issues. So they have to be of, an age which will help them not only remember, but also fulfill responsibilities by not only filing affidavits, but subjecting them to cross-examination in case wills are challenged. And you pay registration fees. After you pay the registration fees, the will is registered. A copy is taken by the registrar. That copy of the will is not made available to the public. There's a separate register which is called as registration of wills under book number 4 that is maintained by the registrar, and the original registered will is handed over by the registrar to the person who has prepared the will. Now, I would normally recommend registration of a will only when a person is absolutely sure that he doesn't want to make any changes to the will in the future. So if a person has lived his life, and of course, we would all want a person after having prepared a will also to live for many, many more years. But once a person realizes that this is it, I don't want any further changes, I don't want any changes, I don't want to give anything to anybody else, this is my final. So once a person decides that this is his final will, normally I would recommend registration only at that stage. It is not that if you decide tomorrow after registration, you cannot make a new will. Of course you can make a new will, but then the objection will be, again, if you don't register that will, that whether the registered will should prevail or the unregistered will should prevail. And if the bequests are changed considerably, the person who has got any property under a registered will is bound to take an objection that the non-registered will is not a document that was signed by the deceased, and that's why he would take an objection. So this is so far as registration of wills are concerned. It's not required to register a will, but if one wants to register it, there is an availability of a forum where you can go and register a will. Now, there could be a situation where you may not want to register a will. You want the registrar only to hold on to your original will so that nobody creates any kind of mischief to your will, and you want it to be deposited for the purpose of safekeeping. This again should be done only when you have decided finally that this is going to be your last will. You are not going to be preparing any future wills. So the difference between a registered will and a will deposited with a registrar is that the registrar then doesn't register the will. He takes up the obligation of holding on to the original will, which he will produce only after the person who has prepared the will dies. In the case of a registration of a will, the will is registered by the registrar and is handed over to the testator after the registration formalities are completed. When the registrar is approached for a deposit of a will, he doesn't register the will at all. What he does, he takes the will, he puts it in his cover, in his envelope. He will then put his registrar's red seal on it, and he will then deposit that into a cupboard, a fire-safe cupboard, and record that he has taken that as a deposit and recorded in his book number 3. In cases of registration of wills, he records it in book number 4. and then hands over the original back to the testator. In case of a deposit, he takes the sealed cover, puts his seal on it, and then puts it in his fire safe custody and records that he has accepted being the custodian of the will and records it in his book number 5. Now, normally, if a testator wants that document to be withdrawn during his lifetime, it's possible that he can do so. But what will happen is that he will have to make an application. The registrar, as we know, these are government officers, they change from time to time. The registrar before whom you have deposited the will, he may or may not be there when you are asking for a withdrawal of that will. So the new registrar will have to be convinced that you are the very same person who had prepared the will. And that may be a little bit of a challenge sometimes where, sometimes the registrar may not get convinced. So unless you are absolutely sure that you don't want that will to be withdrawn in your lifetime, I would not recommend you take up, and try and deposit your will with the registrar. There are other people you could deposit your will with. You can deposit it with a banker. You can deposit it with your lawyer. Those are people who would be more amenable in case you want that will to be released. But if you are depositing it with a registrar, it's possible that there could be some challenges. Assuming that you have not withdrawn your will from the deposit that you have created, then what is the procedure that has to be followed after a person dies? Upon the death of the testator, the executor or the beneficiary has to produce the death certificate of the deceased and has to inform the registrar that the person who has prepared the will and deposited it is no longer alive, and because he is no longer alive, we need the copy of the will so that whatever he had set out during his lifetime can then be fulfilled and done. Now, when a registrar receives this request, first he will have to be convinced with the death certificate that the person who created the will is no longer alive. And once he is convinced that the testator is the deceased, he will then make a copy of the will, give it to the people who had approached him. So the people who approach him don't get the original, they only get the copy. And the original is then recorded in book number 3, and original is kept with him. Now, the question will arise that why should the registrar keep the original? Because the original is required for the purposes of probate and for the purposes of showing it to various authorities. So what the law provides is that if you make an application for a copy of the will, you will only be given a copy. Even if you apply for an original, the registrar will not give the original to you. But if there's a requirement that you have to file for probate, you have to apply to the court where you are applying for probate with the copy of the will, that the copy of the will is being produced. The original has been deposited with the registrar. Please subpoena the registrar to produce the original document. The court will summon or subpoena the registrar, and the registrar will then produce the original will to the court for doing the needful. So the court will then be satisfied whether the will is required for probate. If the mandate of probate is not there because the religion of the person does not require probate, then to that extent the will be released by the court without a probate. Otherwise, the court will take into custody the original will and then complete the probate formalities.